What's going on, everyone? So last night we got news that the Lakers signed Louis Keene. At first it looked like, what did they sign him to? Did they fill out the 15th roster spot? Like, what is going on here? Now it's apparent that it's very likely an Exhibit 10 deal. They just want to kind of get a good look at Keene and see, like, what can he provide? He's a 6'7", shooting guard, small forward type player who shot 39%. He had, in his one game with Philadelphia last season, scored 20 points on basically 50% from the field, looked really good. And now the Lakers have signed another player to add to another Exhibit 10 as the Lakers go and take on their last preseason game of the season against the Phoenix Suns today. This time they signed Quinndary Weatherspoon. And he had a really solid showing with the San Antonio Spurs so far in this preseason. But again, just a guy that they're kind of taking a look at. He's a bit older, right? He's plays for the Santa Cruz Warriors. He's a G League guy. He's 27 years old, 6'3" height. And he was a second-round pick back in 2019, the 49th pick in that draft. Just a guy that the Lakers are interested in, especially after his display so far with the San Antonio Spurs. Just giving these young men an opportunity to maybe have a future with the Lakers, whether it's G League team, right? The Lakers waived several guys, Scottie Pippen Jr., and then Vincent Villarreal. So what do the Lakers do? Do the Lakers kind of just, the idea is that they sign those guys to the G League squad. They have that filled up. If I'm not mistaken, I think that they have their roster locked up down there, but that doesn't mean you can't, add another guy or waive a guy, or do it, 'cause it's just like anything else, right? So this could be something where the Lakers are interested in him as they were with Keene, and want to give him an opportunity to display his talents and see what he could do. He's probably not playing like a ton, but that final quarter of preseason tonight, that's where I think you'll see some of these guys actually get the opportunity. So Darvin Ham has already said that he is going to play the first 3 quarters of this game with the starters and the rotation pieces. So you'll likely all hands on deck. This is the dress rehearsal game, right? This is the game that you start getting everything in order. You start getting everything ready to go and take on the Denver Nuggets for the first game. But diving in with Weatherspoon here. So he's been in the league 3 years. He's only played a total of 42 games during the actual season. So, basically half a season's worth of actual run. The numbers don't really stand out, right? He's not a guy that, like, if you're looking at the box scores, is really going to be a guy that you're like, oh, man, he has a lot of potential, a lot of future. Kind of look more on the G League side, although we've seen lots of guys have success in the G League, great success, be MVPs of the G League, just dominating the G League, looking like, Jordan in the G League, and they come to the NBA, and it's just a completely different game, completely different atmosphere, completely different everything. But in the 3 years that he has played actual NBA games, 2 of them with San Antonio, 1 of them with the Golden State Warriors, he's averaged 2.1 points per game. Again, only averaged 6.5 minutes per game. So if you adjust that for, per 40 minutes, basically, he's like a 12-point-a-game guy, 12 to 14-point-a-game guy, somewhere in that ballpark. Now, 3-point percentage-wise, he, again, I don't even know if this is a sample size for NBA standards, because he's literally averaged 0.4 attempts, right, as far as 3 points go. He's a 18.8% three-point shooter. So, but again, you don't even have a full attempt per game average, which kind of hard in 6.6 minutes per game, because you're not taking very many shots, period. He's only averaging 1.5 attempts per game, 45% from the field, again, in these 3 years. His best, stint, which again, it's hard to really evaluate these guys when you don't really get to see a lot. And at 27 years old, you imagine he's not a guy that's going to make huge waves at this point, but he is a guy that maybe could be a quality rotation piece at some point, right? A guy that you're bringing off the bench, even a guy that's like, your 14th guy on the bench, right? With Golden State last year, again, that's probably the best sample size because he got just under 2 attempts per game. Again, very small. Averaged 57.1% from the field, 20% from three-point range, and shot 68.8% from two-point range with an EFG of 59.5. Not really much you can go off of, like I said. Rebounding, 1.5 rebounds per game, half an assist. Will be nice and rounded up to half a steal, half a block. So the idea of Weatherspoon is for him to come in and be like a defensive two-way guy. A guy that can kind of get to the basket, create his own shot. A guy that can, maybe be a solid rotation piece. But ultimately, this is just a nice little exhibit. Like, hey, we wave some guys. We want to give you an opportunity here. Let's see how you can perform, right? That's basically what this is. Now, as far as like summer league or preseason so far, he's averaging 15.5 points in the 2 preseason games that he's played. He shot 52% and 40% from three-point range. Again, 2 NBA preseason games, but again, that's promising, right? He's showing some real like growth. He's showing the ability to score the basketball, and he's showing the ability to actually shoot the 3 ball. So again, when you don't have a lot to really use as a template, as a blueprint, then it's kind of hard to know, what's the idea here? What are we looking at for this guy? So last season though, he did spend some time with the Chinese professional team with the Pioneers. There he averaged 16.5 points through 23 games. It's not the NBA, right? It's not really even comparable to the NBA. But he's a guy that I wouldn't get my hopes up on. It's not a guy that if it's somebody you're looking at as like, oh, this is a guy that, could maybe earn a spot. No, it's just a look. It's what this boils down to. He's a guy that's just going to get a look, get an opportunity to maybe display a little bit of his skill set. He'll probably play, most, if not all of the fourth quarter, because the Lakers are playing the Phoenix Suns, right? So they're going to want to lock down. They're going to want to buckle in. They're going to want to go and make that push to try to, just win this game. Or at least the minutes in which the actual starters and rotation guys are in, right? We've seen Darvin Ham pretty much every preseason game. The final half of the third quarter and then the entirety of the fourth quarter, he's playing the G League squad. And so that's probably what we see here, right? We see a maybe through the entire third quarter and then going into the fourth, that's where we see the G League guys. And that's where Weatherspoon is going to get his opportunity. That's where he's going to be able to, maybe shine a light. And look, if he balls out and continues a good performance like he has with San Antonio through preseason, then, hey, maybe he does get picked up by somebody, or maybe it is the Lakers, and maybe they are putting him on the G League team and allowing him an opportunity to kind of work his way into this season, right? Because, again, shooting guard is a position that is of need for the Lakers. Lakers need a shooting guard. They need guards. They have plenty of wings and forwards and stuff for the foreseeable future, so we'll see how this goes. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Are you interested in this guy, Weatherspoon? Are you familiar with him? Are you somebody that's like, this is just Exhibit 10, don't really care? this is nothing more than an Exhibit 10, so it's not somebody that is likely going to make the roster at all or that we're going to see and be a part of. Again, at 27 years old, it's kind of hard to have major expectations for a guy. You know, if he was 21, 22, something like that, it's like, oh, okay, like, you know, maybe he can work away onto a roster. But at 27, you're basically, at this point, you're in your prime, you know, or for most players, right? Like, this is usually where guys are starting to show that, like, who they are as a player. But we have seen some late bloomers, so you never know. But again, love to hear it. How do you feel? Down in the comment section below.